Hi there, welcome to Coming Home. I am your host, Dr. Onalee. It is my intention to help you truly come home to who God created you to be. And can I just be honest with you for a second here and just super vulnerable? This is a platform that I have to share my story, share my experience, share my strength, my wisdom, my lessons. And today, the Lord really spoke and put it on my heart that it's time to really share more of my stories, more of my testimony, more of what has gotten me to this point. I've had this business for 8 years, and what you might not know, unless you've been following me for a long time, is that about 4 years ago, I ended up having a manic episode. I was diagnosed in the hospital as bipolar 1, and I was in and out of the hospital for an entire month. During this time, my business was making multiple six figures. I had team members. I lived in Miami. I had an apartment overlooking the water. I had just bought my dream BMW, the Chanel bag, the Jimmy Choos, all the materialistic things I got. But what I didn't have was truly a relationship with God and true sobriety. This was what I needed, my divine interruption, in order to get me sober and to get me to personally come home to myself and my relationship with God and to truly turn my will and my life over to the care of that. And I want to be open and I want to share because I know, maybe even you've been diagnosed with some kind of mental health disorder. Maybe you have schizophrenia. Maybe you have borderline personality. Maybe you also have bipolar. Maybe you're bipolar too. Maybe you have anxiety. Maybe you have depression. Maybe you're really against labeling yourself or diagnosing yourself. And trust me, that was me for years and years. Especially back then, being a very spiritual person, I didn't want to put a certain label onto it. I do believe that a lot of our negative expression of certain diseases and labels can come about when we're in narcissistic relationships. I think that is a huge factor and a huge component. But for me, the more that I hid it and didn't want to share about it because I was afraid people would think I'm crazy, they can't trust me, who would marry me, who would love me, the more I was in the dark about it. And the more I came into the light about it. And I made peace with it and I accepted it. And I realized God made me perfect and whole and created me in his image and doesn't want me to share and hide aspects. He's well aware of it. The more that I shared that, the more I would go speak in rehab centers, detox centers, in recovery rooms and find out how many other people feel the same way I do. And I know that God has given me the talents, the skills, the abilities, the resources, the confidence, the courage to be able to create this platform and to be able to share a message so big to so many people. And my intention is for you to also feel safe in the world with whatever it is that you're navigating, whatever cards it is that you've been dealt. My intention is to help you turn it to gold, turn it for good. And so, a way that I want to turn it for good is to share that with you. You maybe are listening and you don't even know this, and you've been a private client of mine for a long time. There was a time where I was in so much pain all over my mind and my body, I could barely even show up to the calls. But I kept going and I stuck with my commitment and I never burned my business to the ground, even though I was tempted. I would work full time as a chiropractor and I would take my client sessions after work on my lunch break. I almost didn't re-sign the annual report to keep my business. I had to pay a big fee and I thought, oh, it's a sign my business is done. I then got a huge tax bill too, and I thought that was going to take me out. I had all of the signs, the outward signs that would make a person want to quit their business. But I had God and I have a mission. And this mission requires being brave. Even just the other week or a few days ago, I did another podcast episode. You might not have listened to it, but my partner at the time, his ex, commented negatively on my, and again, I'm not 100% sure. All signs point to that, 99% pretty sure. This woman has publicly on my live written comments that aren't true, messaged me certain things, sharing my partner was in a relationship with her when he wasn't, and I saw the messages and there was confirmation. And especially being a public figure, that doesn't feel safe with somebody unhinged to comment on your stuff, to be spreading lies, be spreading rumors, and then to try to attack the podcast and my business and all the things. That's not a safe thing when you're a public figure and this is your livelihood, this is your reputation. But what I've done is I've spun it around. I use it for good. what came out of that was so many of my private clients who stepped up to the plate and shared their honest feedback, what it's like to listen to the podcast, what it's like to work with me. And so now it's flooded with positive, beautiful reviews. And what I'm doing is when you go to submit a review, when you hit the 5 stars and you write something before you hit submit and you screenshot it to me and you message me on Instagram, I'm going to send you a meditation that's been inspired from this called God Has Your Back. And it's really opening me up. I'm just so grateful right now. My intention is that as you're listening to this, see how it can relate to your life and the similarities. It's helping me be more open, be more vulnerable, spread my message even further, even wider, not have anything hidden, anything in the dark. And that to me is what it means to come home. As I share my story, as I release my fears, my worries, my anxieties, as I get support for it, I can empower and inspire you to do that. And then you do that and you do that. I believe we all have a unique vision, mission, dreams, hopes, desires, but we all have unique fears, worries, anxieties. We have doubt. We're all struggling with something right now. I'm struggling with something. You're struggling with something. One thing I struggle with, to be vulnerable, is that I want to have children. And I'm about to be 34 yet, and it doesn't seem like anytime soon that that's going to be the thing happening. There's moments of true faith, and women these days have children way later. And then there's moments of fear of, oh my God, like, am I going to have a child at 40? Am I even going to have a child? We all have something that we are navigating. And no matter how many people say, don't worry, you'll have them at the right time, does that always fully bring you ease? It's well meaning, but you know what it's like to have such a dream and such a desire that's been leading and guiding you for years and years and years. There's no greater desire I have other than getting married, having children, and having a widespread mission and feeling fulfilled and satisfied living my dream. We all have something right now to be praying for, to be believing for, something that is bringing up doubt within us, struggle within us, a lack of peace within us. I guarantee if you look at even the people who are married, who do have kids, or who appear to have a happy marriage, who didn't get divorced, and you have shame about your divorce, and you have shame about the parent that your children have to have. Even people who have the things that you think would make your life completely different, they have something that they are struggling with. And sometimes it's even worse, I think, because they don't feel they have a right to speak into their pains and their struggles. Because who are they to say that when they have this and this and this and lots of money and a family and all the things? And that's why this applies to everyone, no matter how wealthy you are, no matter what relationship you're in. Your pain, your struggle, it's worth speaking into. It's worth praying over, and to never cease praying. Today, I was sitting in the parking lot. I went into work as a chiropractor, adjusting people. The office was slow. I was sitting outside. I was reading Dawn Cherie's book, a little plug for her, Slow Burn. And do you ever feel when you're listening to sermons or even a talk like this, or somebody singing a song or in worship, and you just start crying? The energy is just palpable. You can feel the love. You can feel the truth. I have a mentor that always says truth is the highest frequency. You can feel it. You know when somebody's lying. Didn't you know when the narcissist was lying to you and gaslighting you and cheating on you? You can feel frequency. And truth has a very high one, a very clear one, and one that can often move us to tears. And that's what happened today. And something she spoke in to my heart was that when you ultimately, your tears, you will reap so much joy. And it just gave me this moment of, I want to be vulnerable to God. And God does care. God's not annoyed. God's not burdened that I keep bringing up certain prayers. I keep asking, keep knocking, keep asking for guidance and wisdom. Release the pain, release the temptation. Help me to stay strong. Give me the endurance. Help me to trust. And something that came on my heart today was just be in my mission. And this is my mission. And before the hospital 4 years ago, I got on lives and my podcast all the time, and I just talked about everything. And I had a huge following. I had tons of clients. I loved it until I crashed, until I burnt out, until I couldn't do it, still drinking and doing drugs and being with narcissistic men. But there are aspects of it that I love. And I'm just now, 4 years later, really feeling like I'm home again. And so thank you for giving me an opportunity to be vulnerable. So many vulnerabilities just came out here. But that's the whole freaking point. I don't know when I'm going to die. I don't know how many more days I have. Why would I live in fear and shame and guilt, pretending to be something I'm not, pretending to have my whole life in order? My life is wonderful and I have a lot of peace and a lot of joy, a lot of serenity. I will give it that. I have a lot of great friends. I have an amazing family. I do have that. But I have the things I wrestle with and struggle with. I have dreams that have not been physically manifested yet. And that's the whole point of walking with faith and not by sight. That's the whole point. That's what brings us closer to God. That's what makes the reward, the outcome when it happens so much sweeter and such a testament of how faithful God is. And so, what else spoke to my heart when Dawn Cherie was sharing in her book? She walked through 8 years of infertility. Imagine how many negative pregnancy tests, how many times she heard it's not physically possible. And now she has 4 beautiful children. There was a part in her book, and I encourage you to get it. I'll link it in the show notes here. There's a part of the book where she talks about she walked into a surprise Mother's Day celebration before she physically had her own children. And the women who were celebrating her felt like she was a mother to them. She's loving, she's nurturing, she's protective, even though these women were even older than her. And it spoke right to my heart of, I don't need to have my children physically here right now. And it's going to be so sweet when they are. But I can still be that motherly figure. I have women that God's placed in my heart that I get to lead them and guide them. I have neighbors, these 4 beautiful children who live in my neighborhood. And I just got the intuition, let's just make funfetti cupcakes. What would I do if I had my own children right now? I'd want to be writing them messages and put them in their lunchbox. I would want to be making them funfetti cupcakes to bring into school on their birthday, for the bake sale. I would want to fill them with joy and be nurturing. I want to be a mother. I want to wake up early. I love my mother, but my mother did not wake up early. She wasn't there for me in the morning. She did her best. I will always honor her in that way. But in the morning, she wasn't available. And I've made a commitment that that's something that's important for me. And so I'm so grateful. I work out with one of my best friends, Sam. You guys might know her, Samantha Daly, Makeshift Happen, another plug for her. We get our asses up at 7 in the morning. We meet at 8 a.m. no matter what, religiously twice a week. And it's helping me prepare to be a mother, to be able to handle more. And today I prayed a prayer like, God, I pray for the honor and the responsibility to be able to raise children, to be able to lead them, guide them, nurture them, mature me into that woman. Help me to be her. My intention with these podcasts always, especially moving forward, is listen to what stands out for you and what you can take away from this. Maybe what you might take away is bold prayers. You don't need that thing right now, or that position, or that relationship, or that baby, or that money. Do good with what you have. And you don't need to wait for that actual thing to manifest and be here in the physical to start being that character. Use the negative, the attacks from the enemy for good. That negative review, I know there's always going to be negative reviews, but that one really landed because it just feels unfair. It feels untrue. Use it for good. Use whatever is coming at you for good. Get vulnerable. Whatever feels right for you. Maybe you're just a little bit more vulnerable today. Maybe you share with somebody, especially if you're the strong, empathetic friend, like I always am, the strong therapist friend that everyone comes to for their problems. What if you call a friend and you reach out and you say, hey, can you listen to me for a second? I'm going through this. I've had to learn to do this. I have so many more friends right now, so many sisters in my life. I don't have to always be that strong friend. I get to ask for support. I get to receive support. There's a woman in my life who I tell absolutely everything to. The good counsel in my life that she gets all of me. She gets all of me. She gets my craziest thoughts, my fears, my resentments. She gets it all. She's the person that God has entrusted to be able to share all of my darkness, all of my everything, and to hold space for it. And it is my wish for you, my intention, my prayer for you that you get to have, it feels like something's like stinging me, that you get to have that in your life. So, final message here: release your shame, release your isolation, allow in support, allow in prayer, allow in God, come home to yourself. And I look so forward to bringing you more of these episodes. And again, I invite you, if you feel called, it is my request, something I wasn't really asking for much, but I do see it makes a difference. If you can please just go to the bottom of this, the very bottom, if you're on Apple Podcast, hit the 5 stars. And if you feel like taking even an extra minute, just write anything about working with me or how this podcast has impacted you. Just anything also that would be useful to somebody who's going to listen. That's my request for you. And if you screenshot it, send it to Instagram at Dr.Onalee before you hit submit, then go ahead and submit once you've sent me the thing. And I'm going to send you that meditation. At the end of every month, this is the last thing here, I promise. At the end of the month, every single person who messages me on Instagram, you're still going to get the meditation no matter what for doing this. But I'm going to pick 5 people out of the people who did a review. I'm going to give you a free 30-minute one-to-one with me. I obviously can't do this forever, but as long as I can be doing this, I want to do this. I feel like this is such a win that gets to come out of that negative review, and I get to actually get on a call with you, which is my favorite thing to do in my business. Every single one of my private clients who has fully recovered from narcissistic relationships and come home to themselves, they started with a 30-minute one-to-one. There is so much beauty, so much power of you being open and willing to get on a call, to share it, to have somebody hold space for you, and to see where you started towards where you're going to be. So that's a little fun thing that's coming out of this. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I'm going to put all the information down below. Go ahead and share this. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.